Director of Information and Learning Technology from Byron Public Schools. And today we are going to do a Google Hangout on air about makerspaces. And Travis from the Dakotas is going to share with us. But first, we want to find out who's all with us in this Hangout. And we can go ahead and share who's the team here. Go ahead and holler out.
Hello, I'm Abe Rodemeyer. I'm the elementary principal.
Hi, I'm Amanda Durnan, and I am the assistant elementary principal.
And I'm Corey Graham, the innovations teacher at the elementary school.
I'm Becky Demmer, and I'm the instructional coach, continuous improvement coach.
And I'm Chanel Cody. I'm the elementary tech person.
And Lisa. Yeah.
I'm Lisa. I'm the media center para.
Okay, so take it away, whoever wants to go next.
Are you looking for us joining online?
Yes. Announce who you are.
Hi, I'm Eric Simmons. I'm the Director of Technology up in Princeton, Minnesota.
I'm Tommy Swanson. I'm the Technology Integration Specialist at Cass and Manorville, and I have two people with me.
I'm Michelle Poncelet. I'm one of the media technicians here at Cass and Manorville.
And I'm Cheryl Sorgenfree. I am the media assistant.
We are meeting at the middle school.
I'm Matt Like, Tech at Byron Middle School. This is?
Missy Helgrimson, media paraprofessional.
All right, and I'm Travis Lape. I'm a technology integrationist with the Harrisburg School District in Harrisburg, South Dakota, just a suburb of Sioux Falls. So if you know where Sioux Falls is, that's where we're located. We're one of the fastest growing districts in our state. We are building our 6th elementary. Just to give you a little history, we used to be a elementary, middle school, high school in 2007. Now, as of 2015, we have 5 elementaries, 2 middle schools, and a high school. We are building our 6th elementary this year. Next fall will be the opening of it. Within the next probably 5 to 7 years, we'll build another middle school and another elementary with the idea of possibly a high school. So that is kind of the history of Harrisburg and where we're growing. With that comes challenges. But also with that comes really a lot of excitement because we get to try a lot of new things and really get to try to lead the way in a lot of things. So one of those areas that we've broken into is our makerspace and our media center, and we really started with trying to get a environment created. It wasn't about the tools in our makerspace. I'll show you our tools in that, and that's part of it, but a lot of what we did was focused on creating an environment in our media center that really drove what we did here at South Middle School. We're a BYOD school, 7th and 8th grade, and we're piloting iPads in 6th grade this year. And so with that comes challenges as well of how do we get kids into the media center when they already have devices, they already can get ebooks. So we really sat down with our media specialists and talked with what do we want this to be? What is this media specialist? What does this library really mean to our media specialist? And she was phenomenal to work with. She's not here today. I'm bummed because I'd love for you guys to meet her. She's a rock star. She came in with the idea that she wanted this place to be hopping. She wanted it to be some place where kids lived and wanted to be every day. And so we looked at an environment to create for our kids, and how could we do that? So we started with our space. And so I'll show you our space and kind of walk through it. I'm going to do this now via my phone. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? I may have lost my phone here. Hold on. All right, we're going to try this. It may not. Okay, I will do it with my computer then. So we started with our space first. This is our space. I'll start from the back side here so you can see we have really gorgeous windows that add so much natural light into our space, which we cherish very much. But then we had this open floor area, and in this area we had old big oak tables, which are great. They're quality, they're going to last forever, but they're hard to move, they're hard to redesign, they're hard to set up for classes. And so we'd have classes come down, but they'd check out a book, sit at the table, and read. And nothing wrong with that, but that was the only purpose of this space. And when you think of your media centers or your libraries in your schools, they're typically one of the largest rooms in the building besides the gymnasium. And they're usually some of our wasted space in our schools that don't get used every single hour of the day. And so we really wanted to create an environment that brought kids into our space every day, really tried to do it every hour of the day. And what does that look like and how does that work? And so we created this space. We went out and got flexible furniture. We went after a grant, and thankfully we were awarded a $30,000 grant that allowed us to get the furniture that you see. This is steel case furniture, all on wheels, very mobile. So right now we have it set up in pods, but you can set it up in a circle. I mean, in a matter of seconds, we can have a redesign of this space to meet the needs of whatever the class teacher needs. So that's kind of the learning environment. That's the learning space in our media center. Then we come over here to the collaboration space, and we have a giant table with tall stools, all linked up to an 80-inch TV. So our students can come in, sit at this, they can collaborate. We've got an Apple TV with our iPads, and then with our MacBook Pro carts that we have, students can pull out a laptop, pop up there, and put anything they want on their screen. And so this is kind of our collaboration space for our students, all linked up to our TV. So we've got the learning environment, we've got the collaboration space. Last year we ran into an issue where we found out very quickly that not only did the students really enjoy coming in here, but some of our teachers did too. And so our library ended up getting booked several hours, and sometimes 2 classes in one period would be in this space. And so think about having 2 middle school classrooms in this space, working, functioning. It's not going to be quiet, but it was very manageable. But what we did find out was that I no longer needed an office. My office needed to become a quiet area for students that needed that quiet time. And so we created this year, based on what we knew last year, the think tank room. And so now this has become a place where students can, again, we have flexible furniture in here. We have couches with little tables. We have whiteboard. We just got our whiteboard wall, so students can start to write on the wall and showcase their learning there or process their thinking. We've got some more flexible furniture there. So this is kind of the quiet area in our library where students can come in and work and have kind of that quiet time that they need to get their thoughts put on paper, or some students will just go in there and read. And it's really caused a great, it's really helped our space out because of the need of having someplace quiet. So we have the learning environment, the collaboration space, we have a quiet area, and then we took the back office, which was our media specialist's office, and we turned that into our green room. So we have an entire room just dedicated to our green screen production crew. And so we did this just in this back office. So again, we just took a normal office and said, really, what's the purpose of it? What do we use it for? Our media specialist was like, I'm never sitting back there. It's just wasted space. Why not use it for something for our students? So we transformed that last year into our green room, and students are in there constantly, every day, recording movies, making iMovies, making trailers for ELA. Spanish was in there, speaking Spanish today on just the numbers and the alphabet, and creating iMovies for those. And so, again, we just looked at our space and said, how can we best utilize this space? And I will tell you today, we are still learning, and we are still making changes to this space because we're learning with our students. We're really watching them and seeing what do they like, what do they want in this space, what type of areas do they need. So with that, we've really started to create this learning environment. that leads into our final area, and that is our MakerSpace area. And so, if you can see here, we have our 3D printer area. So we have 2 little 3D printers from Affinia, and then we have their brand new 3D, their big one, H800. So we have the 3D printer area. We have a little bits bar. We have Osmo, which I will tell you, our math and Spanish teacher has just started to love this. Our 8th grade ELA teacher is going to get involved here shortly because of what the students are talking about in their classrooms. But our teachers have now started to take Osmo into their classrooms and work with 8th grade math and 7th grade Spanish, working with their vocab words in a competitive, fun, interactive way with words. So Osmo, you can create your own vocab words with their tools, and so our teachers have gotten innovative with that to try to bring Osmo into their classrooms, and it's really paid off. I mean, it's been fun to watch our students. We have snap circuits here. We have Makey kits, all in little Ziploc baggies, so students just take those and go. This station is just making LED cards, so paper circuits. Right now they're making Thanksgiving cards that light up and have eyes for turkeys, and so students are creating whatever they would like in that station. So we started with this space last year, and it really was utilized by a lot of our students, but the thing that we were missing was that tie back to classrooms, because that's really where my passion is getting in classrooms, team teaching with teachers, and using these tools to enhance our experiences for our students. We have Sphero, which have been a great resource for us, little robotic balls. If you haven't seen those, definitely check them out. We've got Legos, we've got squishy circuits, we've got cardboard, really an assortment of tools for our students. But we created this space. We created this space for our students, and they last year just flooded this place. We had students in before school, we had students in during study hall time, and we had students in after school. But then my job, what I really focused on last spring, was getting into the classroom, watching teachers teach, because my background was 4th grade. I was an integrationist at an elementary level, and then this position opened up at our middle school, and I said, you know, professionally, this is probably a good move for me for right now. And so I came over to the middle school. I can't wait to get back to elementary, but right now I'm here, and I love what we're doing with kids. But in this environment, it's great when it's here, but the power is when it goes to the classrooms. And so our social studies teacher was just in Eastern region and different big events that have happened there. And with that, excuse me, my computer's about to die. With that, we're going to bring in the robotic balls, and he's going to have different scenarios on these cards, and the students are going to have to drive their Sphero to that state that had that crisis or that event. And so it's a review. Kids will have the robots. They'll be able to, we can either program them or they can drive them, but they're gonna be able to play an interactive game with each other in that way. So basically that's our space and that's what we're doing. But if I gladly open it up for questions and thoughts. If you could hold 1 second, hold 1 second.
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but that space is pretty cool. It's pretty exciting to see that.
All right, questions.
Yeah, so a couple of questions that came to mind, Travis. 2 questions from our group. Right now you're in a middle school space. So yep. I know we had talked earlier and you were talking about, this originated in the elementary school. What kind of things would you have done differently in an elementary setting versus the space you have now? And I have forgot the other question. Oh, I know. What ways have you seen the connections to the classroom? You've kind of shared a couple, but are there other connections to the classroom that your space has kind of, engaged teachers, different curricular areas, whatever?
Absolutely, great question. So at the elementary level, what we really started thinking about was, my job at the elementary level was part-time computer, part-time integrationist. And it always made kind of the hair on the back of my neck stand up when I would hear teachers say, we're going to go to computer today and we're going to do this project. Well, that project should have just been integrated into what we just did. And so having that integrationist, having that tie, we wanted to really start to merge that gap where we're no longer going to computer. It's not another thing. It's what we do every day with students, and it's what students do every day, is use the tools and the technology that they have available to them. So we really looked at getting creative with a schedule and trying to use some of our media time, library time, as kind of the flex learning. In South Dakota, our media specialists have standards that they must get through with our students for library. And so we were still going to focus on that, and then really look at driving this creativity and innovation in our media center as kind of some themed weeks. So one week might be robotics theme, or month, and 1 month might be circuits, and 1 month might be 3D printing, and 1 month might be cardboard challenge. And we really started to think about in groupings, how can we bring this into our space in an environment where our students don't necessarily have study halls, but how can we bring it in? And so we started really brainstorming those ideas. At an elementary level, all of the tools that I showed you today, Littlebit, Snap Circuits, Sphero Robotics, Paper Circuits, Pencil Scribe, any of those are perfect things for elementary students to use inside their classrooms or bring into the media center and use it as an enrichment activity for the students. And so what I've seen, especially at an elementary level, is using it as an opportunity to teach students to extend their learning from what they're doing in their classrooms already. And so we really looked at that, getting creative with the schedule to allow that. Some of that was going to be maybe during their media time, but if they took computer away and put me in the classroom with team teaching with teachers lost what we call a special. And so how do you make up that time? And so we were going to get creative with that time, and it might have been 2 times in the media center in the week. And so because our elementary was a little smaller, we were able to flex in those times, and maybe they came in twice. One time was checking out books and that, and the other time was focused on one of their projects. And that could go as far as Genius Hour. That second time coming to the media center could really be, here's tools to enhance your Genius project. You can use Makey, you can use Littlebits, whatever you would like, but you get to show your learning and make something that does something. We use that model here all the time with our students, is when you come into our MakerSpace, make something that does something. It doesn't matter what it is, go after it. And we're trying to create an environment in here, and in elementary is great environment as well, is that allowing our kids to take risks and fail. I have so many stories of our students failing in front of each other, but immediately looking at each other and saying, how can we make this better? What did we do wrong? It wasn't this defeated look of, I just got 7 wrong on this test and I studied for 3 hours. It's, I don't know why that didn't work. Let's try it again. And students are recreating and redoing things in our space all the time to make it better for their students. So all the way from elementary, all the way through, even high school, this type of environment, this type of learning can happen and be very powerful for all students.
Now, if I recall, you also kind of updated your reading materials to kind of coincide with the MakerSpace too.
Yeah, that's great. Yep, we did. So our media specialists really spent last year watching our students, seeing what they were passionate about, and then trying to get books in here that tie to their passions and their learning. So we have Lego books, we have MakerSpace books, we have levers and pulleys. So if students are interested in making a lever and a pulley in one of their designs, there's a book for it for them to check out and dig into. Squishy circuits, electronics, take apart tech. Our students are taking apart computers and trying to rebuild them based on the graphics and the images that we have for them. They're really taking their own learning at a new level.
I just have a question here. I was just going to ask, are a lot of the activities that you guys have going on, is that facilitated by like the classroom teacher that's coming in there? Is that facilitated by like you or like the full-time media specialist in it that's really owning those projects, or some of those you just providing them the tools and say, have fun, let's learn, we can't break it, and go from there?
Yeah. So in our MakerSpace environment, before, after school, and during directed studies, our students really, we try to stay out of their way. I'll flip it around here. Hold on one second. I'll flip it around. So as you see here, we've got students starting to roll in. This is their MakerSpace time, and I will truly stay out of their way. If they have questions or need something from me, they'll come and talk. If I see something happening that I need to maybe jump into or go check out, I will. But we try to let them have their space. They're responsible for cleanup. They're responsible for making sure things get back in their areas. I'll do little video clips for them, or I'll do little mini lessons with them if it's a new tool or something new coming to the space. But we really let them dive in and take a hold of it. Now, if a class comes in, I will work with the teacher and kind of team teach and give him or her all the tools they need to be successful. If a classroom's coming in to use a specific tool or to let their students be around here.
Do the kids, are they able to sign up so that they get to go back to whatever it is that they use, like yesterday after school, so that I can come back for the next 2 days to finish something?
Yeah, so this year it's a blast to see their excitement. We have a breakfast club that I call them. It's a group of boys, about 7 of them, that will show up at 7:30 on the dot to come into our space and build and create things. And so they are always putting things. Usually I'm finding their projects all over the place because they're trying to hide it from somebody else so that they don't get taken away. So that's something that we're trying to work through right now, is protecting what they've built so that they don't have to keep rebuilding it from scratch the next day. We're looking at some tubs that they can use. They can check out a tub from us and label it, and that's their tub for the week or till their project's done. And if it's in that tub, nobody else can touch it. So we're trying to work through those things right now, just to make sure that happens.
Could you tell me, what is the supervision of this space? So you have a media specialist that's in there, and then what's your role again in the space? Hello?
Hold on one second. Normally there's 2 of us in here, and so my media specialist is gone today, and I'm the only one, so I've got them asking questions too. I apologize. Yes, so my role in the building is tech integrationist. So I work with teachers and students in classrooms, but then during 8th hour is our directed studies, which is our study hall for our entire school. 6th through 8th grade all have study hall at the same time. And so most of the time then I'm in the MakerSpace with students, just kind of walking around, asking questions, just watching them. Otherwise, if it's a class in here, I don't necessarily always stay. It's usually our media specialist that's always here. But if the classroom teacher needs me, I'll be here. Otherwise, I'm out in the building with other teachers or in classrooms. So it varies on what I do depending on what the teacher needs. But during the day, I'm not usually in here. And then the afternoon 8th period, I'm here helping kids and students with whatever projects they're working on.
Okay, we have one more question.
In the MakerSpace.
Say, Travis, when you aren't there, the other 7 periods, then are kids still able to come through your space? And would that be the same way at the elementary level? Media Center is a class at our school, and it sounds like Media Center is a class at your elementary schools as well.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get a sense as to how that works.
Yeah, so what has started this year, which is super exciting, is that teachers, especially in our iPad pilot, that's where I've seen the most innovation and creativity happening, where our students are coming into our space basically all periods of the day. Some students are using Legos to showcase learning in ELA, and so they'll come in and they'll grab Legos from our MakerSpace and take them into our green room and use the green screen to create their scene. Some students will come down and ask if they can use Makey to showcase their learning in, I want to say, I want to say it was our 6th grade social studies kids used it to make a game for social studies. They made their own game remote out of Makey Makey. No problem. They come in, they grab it, they start working. So it's really open all day long for students, as long as the teachers are okay with letting them come down and using the space for what they need. So some teachers are on board and they're sending kids that have ideas and want stuff, and then other times it's a whole class comes down and does a whole project together. So that varies at the middle school. At the elementary level, I would love to see that same model and that same thing being used all day long, having a space in your center, in your media center, where a student's working on social studies and student has a really good idea to maybe 3D print something to showcase their learning for geography, or the Christopher Columbus coming over on the Mayflower, whatever it may be. Having them be able to use that space 24/7 would be awesome, and I could see it at the elementary being something like that. You would have to really kind of be creative because of the other classes that are happening in there, and what is a signal. If there's a green sign on the door, you can come in and whatever, and if it's a red sign, you can't because I have class right now. That might be something that has to be set up as a structure, but elementary, it would be awesome to see kids constantly coming through the media center to get tools to use on their projects or showcase their learning.
How visible is your space to the other schools? So that's one of the things that in the current building we're in right now is you walk in and there's a big window and it's all the visibility. You see what's happening in your makerspace is going on. I mean, do you see that too? You have a lot of visibility, a lot of people walking through, creates that kind of inquiry-based sense of wonder kind of thing?
It does, yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I want to try this year, and I got this idea from Jimmy Casa down in Iowa, is I want to take some of this stuff out to lunch and have a lunchroom table where I have just different things out there where students can come down, sit down with their lunch tray, and just start tinkering. So if it's little bits, if it's Legos, whatever it is, just to start to spark them, because we have great participation in 6th grade. I mean, this place is packed. I think today we have probably 27, 28 kids in here. 7th and 8th grade, they come down more in their grades when their teachers bring them down. They're not coming down on their own. And some of that is homework, how much homework they're getting hammered. And the other part of it is we're a long distance away from them. It's a long ways for them to come down to the media center. So some of it is they'd rather just stay in their directed studies room and read or do homework than come down here. And that's completely fine. But I know we're missing kids. I know we're missing opportunities with some learners. So that's something that I'm really starting to branch into, is figuring out how I can do this at lunch so that we can start to be visible more for our students. Because, like I said, right now we're down the 6th grade wing. 6th graders pack this place every day. They are excited about what they're doing in here.
I'm just curious. So right now at the Byron Middle School, we have some students there. I'm curious if they want to share their thoughts on what they've seen. I think there's students there. So Matt, if you want to unmute your microphone, and if there's any students that want to share what their thoughts are.
Charlie, where's Miss? Can you hear him? You want to step forward a little bit?
So students, what are your thoughts about these kinds of spaces?
I liked the big windows.
Natural lighting. Anything else?
I like the quiet space for kids to go in.
The quiet space?
Right. Having that space as well as the maker space.
What'd you see?
I like that think tank.
I like all the toys that we have.
How about the furniture? I'm all over that furniture. That's great.
Did you get to see the furniture?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 3D printers was nice.
Yeah.
Just keep working. Just keep working.
Well, is there any other questions from anybody else? Because I appreciate, first of all, Travis, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
The power of Twitter. So he and I were talking last night. I'm like, I'd really like to see it. Oh, by the way, I have this meeting tomorrow, and then a few others joined in. And this is the power of the PLN. So where you can connect no matter where you are and learn from each other. So thank you so much, Travis. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I was going to ask if you have seen a trickle over to the high school yet, but maybe the age level's wrong yet.
You know, that's a great question you have there, because our 8th graders come down for computer time once a week, and we do a different theme with our 8th graders. And our 8th graders have now started asking what's at the high school for us. So they're going to start carrying the banner to the high school, and we're going to have to figure this out. The elementaries in our district are starting to get on board with it. Some of the things that I stress to people, and that is this whole maker idea. If you're allowing kids to do something, open-ended learning, you're not necessarily telling them what to do. That's a makerspace. If you're preloading them with every project's going to look the exact same, then that is a STEM lab, or that's a fab lab, or that's whatever lab you want to call it. But that is not a makerspace. A makerspace is this idea that students get these tools, and the projects are all going to look different, and how students come to their project idea is going to look different too. So the makerspace is really about the process of how they get to their product. It's not about the product at the end. Some of the products that I've seen are the most ugly things ever, but they work, and the student can tell me every little circuit in that thing, and that's the power. That's where it's at. So really think about that too when you start thinking about this. Are we going to do canned projects where every project looks the same, or is this going to be an open-ended where here's the tools, however you want to showcase your learning, you do it?
My vote is number 2.
I agree. Our elementaries are kind of in the middle ground right now, starting this in their spaces, and yeah, we've got mixed signals in our elementary. So we've got something great at the middle school. They could model and use us, but they're kind of a little more wanting to make sure it's a controlled environment right now. And I get that. It's their attempt at it, but I really hope that they'll branch off and allow students to really do what these guys do so well, and that is create different projects.
Okay, well, I think that has been great, Travis. For all of you that are on here right now, we have archived it, so if you want to pass this on. I also want to plug, Travis is doing an all-day ties session on Sunday, so if you want to hang out with Travis all day and talk makerspaces, on Sunday of the ties conference, he is going to be there. So there's a plug for that, and I am so excited, and thank you.
He's going to his makerspace.
I know, Corey is going to be there, so I'll be
Corey, I need to make a shirt for Corey because she's going to be like the #1 fan. I am pumped for Corey.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this broadcast, and thank you very much, Travis.
Hey, no problem. If you need something, you want to do a hangout with just your group or your class or just you individually at a later time, reach out to me on Twitter there or email me. I'll gladly hang out, talk one-on-one with you. It took us 6 months to prepare for this, so it was a journey. We planned for 6 months, and then we rolled it out. It wasn't something that we did tomorrow after we saw, Laura Fleming's my go-to person. She's been a rock star for me. She's really the reason we have what we have here. And so I connected with her just like everybody's here today on a Google Hangout. We connected. She got me fired up, and I was like, I'm not looking back. We're going forward. And so it took us 6 months to get here, and now we've been here over a year, and we wouldn't trade it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Sounds good. Thank you.